So I've been contemplating this for a while. Should I post car videos on this channel? Well, almost 80% of you said yes when I put up a poll on Twitter, so here we are. Of course, I'll focus quite a bit on the technology side of things, obviously, because this is Technology Jock. So here's a montage of the Mahindra Thar 2020 on really bad roads in Himachal. Some parts might be a bit scary as well. It definitely was for me while driving. You let me know how it is to watch it. And of course, along the way, I'll talk about what really impressed me about the new Thar on roads like these. If you're here watching this, then you probably know that the Thar is a four-wheel drive known for its off-road capabilities. The one in this video is the petrol automatic variant, the least favorite of all, but this was actually a rented car, so you know what they say, beggars can't be choosers, or in this case, renters can't be choosers. However, after driving on roads like these, I kind of started liking it a lot. There was no major hiccup on the way. Of course, these roads are bad, but they're not these extreme off-road terrain. So that could be a reason why the petrol variant didn't disappoint me. It's definitely no slouch though, churns out enough torque for almost every scenario that I was in. Should probably be able to handle even rougher terrains. Now, driving on these super bumpy and narrow roads must have taken a toll on the comfort and the drivability, right? Well, of course it did, but not to the extent I was expecting. The Thar 2020 really took me by surprise at how well it handled these terrible terrains. I'll start with the suspension. Guys, I personally own a much more expensive Mahindra XUV 500, the top-end variant, and I know how Mahindra's suspension in that car works. You cannot survive easily on roads like these. But surprisingly, the Thar breezed through it. Initially, I had no idea, but then I learned that the Thar 2020 has an all-new suspension system, a multi-link rear suspension and an independent double wishbone system in the front. People generally ask me, when there are other four-wheel drive SUVs with so many more features, why Thar? And this is the reason. These are built specifically for these terrains. And not just the suspension, the Thar 2020 has some seriously good ground clearance numbers, around 22 centimeters, which is crazy. And you can approach slopes at up to 40 degrees, which is certainly impossible in other luxury SUVs or urban-friendly SUVs. Also, these super large 18-inch alloy wheels. The lower end variants, of course, they get a 16-inch version. Also super happy with the Seat tires Sorry, I'm used to hearing it. Seat tires, that's it, not strategic timeout. By the way, the reason you're hearing some random BGM instead of the original audio is because we played music in the car, so if I play the original audio, I'll get a copyright strike. So, a little about this place. We were heading to this Bijli Mahadev temple in Kullu, Himachal. Roads were not too bad initially, but there was this point where there was a huge parking lot. That's where most people parked their cars and decided to walk the rest of the way. After that point, only a few drivers decided to go by car, and things started going south. Certain parts of the road were horrible, and along the way, a lot of people actually gave up. All those parked cars on the side, they all tried, and eventually, either they gave up or the car gave up. It's not just about the terrain. Of course, the Thar can handle anything. This is not even a challenge. But certain parts of the road were too narrow. Actually, most of the way it was like that. And the few cars that managed to reach the dead end, they had to come back, right? And here you go. This was the worst part. I had to do a hairpin bend in reverse. Unfortunately, my GoPro was off when it happened, so you have to believe me. It wasn't even possible to do a front hairpin bend in one go. It took a couple of reverses and nudges, like come back, go forward, come back, go forward. The reason I'm narrating all these things is because the Thar let me focus on all those important stuff instead of worrying about the SUV itself. I had no idea about it being this capable. I didn't even realize it while driving. It was pretty tense along the way with my parents sitting inside. They were quite scared. So in some critical moments, the privilege of not having to think twice about whether the car can handle it or not is just great. And that's considering a lot of cars gave up on the way, even 4x4 SUVs. Also, how could I forget? There is a dedicated electronic shift on the fly. You can switch from 2-wheel high to 4-wheel high while driving. 4-wheel low has to be engaged only in neutral. 4-wheel low is rarely required though. I just, once I switched to it, I think just for added convenience. It was too slopey and muddy, not because 4-wheel high couldn't make it. I just thought that was a good place to try it out. And yeah, the infotainment system has a lot going for it. I'll talk about it in detail in another video, but for now, there is a dedicated section for adventure statistics for both on-road and off-road, like how much power and torque are in use and the amount of roll, pitch, and where the wheels are pointed. Not really required, didn't find them very useful practically, or maybe it'll be useful in proper off-road terrains. But if you're a stat nerd, you're gonna be very happy looking at this. I spent around a week driving this, clocked around 1500 kilometers, mostly on terrible roads like these. And I've got a lot of things to share, which I'll do in one of the upcoming videos. For now, if these kind of videos interest you, then do consider hitting the subscribe button and the bell icon. That's it. Thanks for watching. This is Ashwin from Technology Jock, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye and take care.